Silver's face was a picture. His eyes started in his head with wrath. He shook the fire out of his pipe. "Give me a hand up," he cried. "Not I," returned the captain. "Who'll give me a hand up?" he roared. Not a man among us moved. Growling the foulest imprecations, he crawled along the sand till he got hold of the porch and could hoist himself again upon his crutch. Then he spat into the spring. "There," he cried, "that's what I think of ye. Before an hour's out, I'll stove in your old blockhouse like a rum puncheon. Laugh, by thunder, laugh. Before an hour's out, you'll laugh upon the other side. Them that die'll be the lucky ones. Ha 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 ha." Well, I added that last bit just for fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome to and welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark. And I hope very much you're all doing well. And I thought I would come back and do another look at one-star reviews of my favorite books. And this week, if you haven't guessed already, that book is, of course, Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. And to think anybody in their right mind could give this book 1 star, it just beggars belief, to be honest with you. You know, I could even understand more the 1 stars for Three Men in a Boat, which is saying something, because I can understand when it's based on humor that is very subjective perhaps, and you know, not everybody's going to get it. But Treasure Island, 1 star, come on. And the scary thing is there's over 9,000 1-star ratings on this book, which is just, oh my God. I thought I was apoplectic when doing the Three Men in the Boat one, and perhaps I might not even make it through to the end of this episode, but we shall have a look at them. I'm not going to put them up on screen anymore. I'm just going to tell you who the people are. I'm not going to allow things like anonymity to prevail on this. I'm going to name and shame the people who wrote these disgraceful things on Goodreads. So let's start off with what looks to be a young lady, Cara Powers here, from February, from Valentine's Day last year. Can you believe that? What? Oh, my goodness. Right. Absolutely the worst and most boring book I've ever wasted my time on. I hated it with a deep passion, and it was made 1 billion light years ago. Thankfully, the author is dead and has been dead since like the 1800s. No! By thunder! How could you write such a thing? Oh my goodness as well. And to say something so, I don't know, so facile and stupid as like, he's been dead since like the 1800s. Oh my God. Sorry, she might not speak like that at all, but outrageous. 1 billion light years ago. Come on. Hyperbole much? Oh my goodness. Goodness me. Oh, so let's go on. So Shay says back in August 2020, DNF on page 31. It was like watching paint dry. Thankfully, it was a book I needed to read for school, because I would have probably spark notes it. Well, okay, fine. Yeah, not great, is it really? Bit of a strange review. So, I don't know. I don't understand some people. I really don't. But it's very interesting going through these 1-star reviews though. And what I have noticed, at least from like a cursory glance, is that it's very much female orientated towards the 1-star review. There are, of course, there's several men in here, definitely. But it does seem to me that the bulk tend to be women, or at least what appear to be women. And I wonder if that's a thing. I know we don't like these days to say that certain books are for men, certain books are for women, or certain books are for boys and certain books are for girls. But I think, you know, in Robert Louis Stevenson's mind, he probably did write this book with the intention of its audience being, you know, prepubescent boys. So I suppose it's maybe a little bit understanding, a little bit reasonable that, you know, maybe a 30-year-old woman might not like it as much, or an 18-year-old girl in 2025 isn't going to like it as much as perhaps it was then. But it's just strange though how some people literally gave it a 1 star because they don't like pirate books. And you think, well, why on earth would you pick up the world's most famous pirate book if you don't like pirate books and then complain about it afterwards? I don't know. Let's see what Zen Peters has to say back in December 2024. Treasure Island does not deserve the credit it is given. The book didn't do well with time. The plot of the story is boring and confusing. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, I cannot see how you can say that it's boring. Honestly. There are a lot of people actually mentioning that it's supposed to be adventure and there's no adventure in it. I mean, it screams adventure. My goodness. I can maybe get some of the confusion aspect, especially, when today people's attention spans are, limited to a 20-second TikTok video. But come on. And the book is ironically a classic. While it is hard to teach and learn from, I'm reading this book. I have had to reread multiple paragraphs because it was confusing and made me want to fall asleep. I don't know. I couldn't get that from Treasure Island. I can't think of any book less likely to make you want to fall asleep. I mean, okay, I'm biased. I have a long relationship with Treasure Island and some very cherished memories around it. But still, I don't get it. I really cannot understand why anyone could look at this book as being boring. It's got like all sorts of stuff in it. Okay, I mean, I understand that there are barely any female characters in it. I think Jim's mum is briefly in it at the beginning, and that she's the only female character apart from when John Silver refers to his wife, although she never appears in the book itself. But I don't know. I mean, some of the comments are quite short though. Like Alexandria here says, "Thank goodness I'm done." Bookish Bibliophile here says, "Never again." And some of them, of course, are quite long, and I don't want to necessarily bore you with them, but still, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Maybe that's the problem with me, is that I've always overprotective over certain things, and I can't see other people's point of views when it comes to disliking a book I love. It does seem sometimes like a very personal thing. I know when I've seen other booktubers smash and rubbish books I love, it's kind of put me off them. Isn't that awful? I mean, probably people can be put off me because I like Treasure Island or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. And I'm sure there are some books that maybe those people love that I might not. And then, if I attacked your favourite book, if it's, I don't know, Middlemarch or something like that, and I said it's a load of codswallop, then you would probably maybe take a dislike to me as well based on that. Because maybe there is like something in that we can judge people according to what they read. I don't know. It's like, yeah, should we? Maybe that's a topic for another video. How fair is it to judge people according to what they read? What have we got here? Charles Cowley. Meh. Treasure Wyland. Not sure it's that great. Troy. Here we go. Here's a male voice then. I thought that this would be a quick and easy read. It took me forever to get through it because I was practically bored to tears and avoided it most of the time. Okay. Well, again, it's the boring aspect that I don't get, because I think quite a lot happens in it. The run-up, of course, is exciting. The opening is exciting with the whole Black Spot and Blind Pew and Billy Bones. And then, of course, the meeting between a wonderful character of Squire Trelawney and Dr. Livesey and Jim when they discuss it, and the fact they're going to kit out an expedition, and then of course the introduction of the other pirates and Long John Silver and the voyage and the plan for the mutiny, then the mutiny occurring, then the battles in the stockade, the adventures with Ben Gunn, and then the climax of actually going to search for the treasure. I don't know. To me, I mean, it's a lot. I think for 150 odd pages, there's a lot packed into that book. I think. I don't see... I mean, I can understand someone, saying, if Treasure Island was 1,000 pages and the same thing, or, nothing much else happens in it apart from what goes into it, saying it's boring and long-winded in places, but 150 odd pages, that's a lot that goes on, Let's see here what Shenitiate says. Read this for school. So boring. Had to read 100 pages in one day. Maybe it's just because I wasn't excited or because I'd rather read Harry Potter. Yes, that might be why. Well, okay. There are long parts in Harry Potter, as much as I did enjoy them when I read them. But I do seem to remember some parts, obviously not being overly exciting. And they are, of course, much bigger books. So it's hard to maintain that that momentum, of course, but I think Stevenson does a really good job in Treasure Island doing that. And finally, let's finish with Ohita from September 2020. My last 2 brain cells committed suicide trying to make sense of this book. Too much testosterone. Well, as I've already said, it was probably, it was a book written with boys in mind, and it is a book primarily dominated by male characters. Very much so. I don't think it's going to be surprising that there's too much testosterone in it. Stevenson basically wrote it for his stepson. I just think it's sometimes unfair to pick up a book that's very famous, that has failings that are so well known before you read it, and then to review it and give a negative opinion based on those failings which you would have known before going into it. It's like all those people who complain about Gone with the Wind being, pro-slavery and racist. It's a pointless complaint, because whether you've read Gone with the Wind or not, everybody knows it's pro-slavery and racist, right? So to complain about it after the fact just seems like, well, why put yourself through the trouble of reading it? I think when you go into books that have failings that are well known before you read them, you need to look beyond those or not bother reading them, because you're just going to be rehashing what everybody else says about it or what you would have known before going into the book in the first place. But there we have it. So there's another selection of 1-star reviews. My favourite books this week, of course, being Treasure Island, and I don't know what will be next time around, but I'm sure I'm going to have to give myself a few days to calm down. Do take care, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Bye-bye.